First music festival, rocking the Meta Party vibes with the Bleece book in here. Shout out Dollhouse. We're out here, baby. Day 3 of the music festival. Let's go. What is good, peeps? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's 1 o'clock, baby. Let's get into it. 2023 Music Festival. We're Meta Party vibes out. Let's go. We're out here. We're at this, I don't know how to pronounce this, Zine Garden? Zehine Garden? Checking this out. We'll jump to the front here. I was just having a little look-see here at the 2023 Decentraland Music Festival. Turn this down a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to be hanging out with some friends for a little bit, checking this out. You know, we've done this for a few years now. And got to check out these big events. And shout out Dollhouse for supporting the stream, supporting me on my journey, my artistic journey. Putting a page together with Dollhouse on the website, dollhousedcl.com. They also have a lot of events coming up this week at the music festival at their Metamorphic stage. We'll definitely be checking that out as well. And yeah, Decentraland has a lot going on right now, so it is a little slow loading. Some people are having issues getting in, but that's just the nature of new tech and day 1. Just things that are going to happen. But maybe we'll have better luck just running around. I had to also adjust my settings in here and lower the scene load radius. So it may take a minute for things to load up. Here's the map. It's just like a regular music festival. It's just like a regular music festival where you have a bunch of stages and you have a lot of events going on at different stages. I know there's some events starting right now at 1 o'clock. Check out this. All right. So people putting in chat right here. True Band Room. Gonna head over there. Let's go. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Sherry Berry Chronos, what's up, friends? What is up, friends? Just have that background. I don't know what they could be playing at these different events if there's not like an event going on or whatever. Very cool, very cool. I love these trees. These are giving like Rustan trees. First music festival, rocking the Meta Party vibes with the Bleece book in here. I want to check out these other stages. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. We got Baby Yoda hanging out here. Colorful is in Colorado. Flew out to Colorado for her best friend's bachelorette party. So a bunch of Latinas out there in Colorado. So Colorful is off on vacay. So it's just me and Ranger Danger here, holding down the fort. But appreciate you hanging out. Live scene. like how they have the schedule here. Got the schedule and the map each day. We'll go check out but yeah, we're hanging out in the Dollhouse Discord and letting anybody pop in and just say what's up or hang out. We're here early, so a lot of events are happening later on. For some of these events, I'm going to be streaming on the Dollhouse Kick, so check that out. Oh wow, we're getting some alpha from Glitch Cat. We are getting some alpha from Glitch Cat here. Hey, we're getting some alpha from Glitch Cat. Coming over the radar. Beep 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 beep. I don't know. Did you go to True Band Room? Try to find where you're at. And Kat, I also sent you the invite for the Dollhouse Discord, where I am sharing my screen in there now, and just kind of whoever wants to come through and chat, come through and chat. We're hanging out there. Top of the ball, Glitch Cat at 1:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, I guess, time doesn't exist in the meta, so yeah, I love that. I love that. We gotta find this. We gotta find this. On top of the ball. She's on top of the ball. Glitch Cat gone wild out here. Glitch Cat gone wild out here. Oh. Oh, Issa Amazing. What's up, Issa Amazing? Friend of the stream. Issa Amazing. Shout out Gaia and the baby dolls. MJK hoping to... I was added to the guest book. Let's go. Little jokers. We're just being little jokers. Okay, I'm loading back in. Let's try this again. Seems like it's running a little quicker now. All right, jumping in. Let's go, baby. 1, 2, 3. Grateful for you, Glitch Cat, hanging out with us yet again. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Grateful for everybody that we get to hang out with. 1, 2, 3. Daily gratitude alarm. It's just a moment to just take a minute and reflect on what you're grateful for. We're always wanting more, but 1, 2, 3 is a daily reminder to myself to just be grateful and to take everything one step at a time. It's just one step at a time, one brick at a time, one day at a time, one deep breath at a time, and we're getting there, and we're here in this moment, and to just be grateful for everyone that you're interacting with. And I'm always very mindful of who I'm around when that alarm goes off, and I just want to just take a second and just be grateful for whoever can hear my voice in this minute of 1, 2, 3. So every day that alarm goes off, and it's been a great thing, and I try to just spread that. I try to spread that out, and just spread that message of that daily, just a daily reminder to just take a step back, live each day like could be your last, because one of those days that will be true. So it's just a fact. So it's good to just reflect and just be grateful for this day. It's a nice sunny day out here. Grateful for this opportunity. Grateful for Dollhouse for supporting the stream and supporting me along my journey here. Shout out to Tang Poco and all the baby dolls. Just much love, and it's been great working with you this year, and just very grateful for the opportunity. Because that's all people need at the end of the day, is is just an opportunity, a chance. We've got Foxy Yoga out here. It's good to see. Let's go, Mana Dude, Shelly Van, Brandon Manis, Mr. Sweet. We got Chain Queen, Sinful, iMew, KJ Walker, Sherry Berry. We love to see it. This is my first music festival, wearing my own wearable out here. We are Meta Party Vibes IRL and in the metaverse. You know, that's what we're talking about here. That is what we are about. Golden Meeple at the top of the waterfall. Oh, we gotta do some parkour, hardcore parkour. Where are you at now? Okay, you by the bar again, or? Hey, there's Lucy. What's up, Lucy? It was so good then. It was so good. I'm just gonna be vibing out with you guys. It was so good. You get to the Golden Meeples, if you climb the mountain. Whoa. Oh. Oh wow. We're getting the alpha here. Okay, here we go. Oh, there it is. Whoa. Whoa. Did we get it? Wearable incoming. Let's go. Glitch Cat with the alpha on that one. Thank you. Let's go. Meep. Let's go. Love it. Blue. music, huh? Let's see if it's in my backpack yet. It takes a minute. Still rocking the Beast book. We got Glitch Cat back in the meta, baby. We got Glitch Cat is back, baby. Oh yeah. Day 1, Metaverse Music Festival. We just got our first wearable. Oh, Cat is got all the alpha on the wearables. She don't miss. She don't miss. We got coordinates. Got all the alpha. Think this is her first time? Not up in here. There you go for Dollhouse. Shout out them. I know I have. It's a bit of a vibe. I'm gonna go check out the techno stage. Okay, so techno stage. Going to the techno stage. I don't know if I'm... Again, I wish they had like direct links. Techno stage. Straight ahead. Alright. Onward. This feels like you're actually like running in a actual music festival trying to get to the stage. Like, oh my god, they're about to start. Oh my god. Techno stage. Oh shit, here we go, baby. Negative 66. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Steve Saiku, multi NFT. Let's effing go. heavy. Purple. All of it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I just had to do a little audio check. There we go. All right, friends, I'm going to call it there. Just want to go live for a little bit each day on these different days. But appreciate everyone. Appreciate Alma for the new follow. Thank you so much, Alma. Thank you, everyone who tunes into these streams and hangs out and catches them afterwards or live, whenever you do. But really appreciate it. And it's just day one. We have more events. Shout out Dollhouse again. We'll be streaming on their Kick later for their event at the Metamorphic stage. So it's going to be trippy. It's going to be really trippy. So tune in to Dollhouse DCL on Kick. Check them out. ! DH in the chat. Check out dollhousedcl.com and see what all they have going on. Whether you tuned in today on Twitch or Kick, appreciate it. We'll be live again tomorrow, so stay tuned. All right, till next time, peeps. What is good, peeps? What is good? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Metaverse Music Festival Day 2. Day 2. We are out here for Day 2 of the Metaverse Music Festival. What is up, friends? Oh, we got Butch Cat in here. Let's go. What's up? We are live on Twitch as well, hanging out. Gonna be hopping in here. Just wanted to say what's up to the peeps, you know, do a little old school meta party vibe space. Say what's up to the peeps and the meeps. Say what's up to the peeps and the meeps. Let's go. So yeah, just getting this started, and it's like day 2, and there's a lot, you know, a lot going on, a lot of different stages. And sometimes you can't make everything. It's like an IRL music festival. You got to decide, like, you know, there's multiple performances at one time, but I think overall they space it out pretty well. So yeah, I'm loving it though. It's very good vibes. But what's up, Glitch Cat? What's up, VJ Delirium? What's up, Meeples? This is a space to share with whatever you got going on, IRL in the meta. But yeah, what's up? Happy Friday.
that they're just hardworking like content creators that are like sitting here creating the wearables and the emotes, and you know what I mean, they're putting in, and yeah, it's just out of the sheer enjoyment of just seeing people, you know what I mean, enjoy wearing them and like posting them online. So I have enjoyed finding like the little gems like this year. I will say I do like last year a little bit more, like you know what I mean. I don't know if that sounds bad, but not to say that this year is bad, but I just feel like I like the scheduling a little bit more that they've done in like the past events, where like if they have like a calendar or like something in the corner where like it's like clickable. I was kind of like expecting a little bit of like that, like I was just like a little bit like confused as to why like there wasn't any like scheduling like on the actual map in place. But hey, it's okay, at least they had like a bunch of like signs everywhere with the times of like the performances. So I'm like, okay, all right, we'll figure this out. But yeah, no, it's been a good time like finding these wearables again, another year of like just jumping in here and seeing what like this virtual realm kind of has, you know. I feel like if anything, it still feels alive in here to me, you know what I mean, because there's still old friends, and I feel like there's still I'm seeing like new people now, you know. It's like it's not just the old crowd. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is like a thing. And I feel like there's no one's like getting you to do anything in here, you know what I mean. It's like you're just exploring, you're really just wandering, you're finding things. It's kind of like I said, like a video game is how I kind of like view it, perceive it as. But again, it's specific brands coming in, specific people, artists, and all this stuff like kind of coming together in this little virtual space. So I'm here for it. I'm here to kind of like wander and live through the through the adventure and just kind of like see what I find. But yeah, no, meeples have definitely been like a gem in the virtual space in Decentraland. They've kind of taken over.
Let's go. Yeah, and love the little parkour. And I see Meeples. What's up? You want to say what's up to the peoples? Oh, you may have to drop down and come back. Can't hear you. I see you're unmuted, but drop down and come back in. And I see Colorful. What is Colorful Meta doing down there? Colorful is in Colorado. I am surprised they're even joining. You come up and speak, but yeah, Colorful is out IRL.
She's
She
always in the meta. She live in
she
the meta. She
she
here.
she out there. All right.
The spirit is here. I love it.
But Meeples, try coming back up. Try leaving the space and then coming back. You rugged a little bit, I think. And I see VJ Deliria in here. I saw VJ Deliria in the meta as well. What is up, friend? I know you've got a lot going on in the meta and in IRL. Seven's hanging out with us on the Twitch stream. He says, Cat, K4T, K4T out here. K4T.
Let's go. Yes, I see VJ Deliria too. I think right now we are at Techno stage. I think Meta DJ is performing right now. So I'm here, I'm vibing. I got a little mask wearable on. I got at the Ravers. Like, I don't even know what he's supposed to be. But I'm a little character. I'm constantly changing my outfits. I feel like it's pretty cute. So I'm always something different.
I see Scat out here rocking. So I'm at Mr. Dingia's build. I saw Category 5 was performing. And so I will head back over to the techno stage though and check out Meta DJ. I would like to check that out. So just thanking Scat Lion rocking the Meta Party vibe out here. Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of friends out here. I hadn't been to this stage, so this is my first time to this stage. I was at Techno Stage yesterday, got to check that out. It was very cool build. And then Yeah, I'm trying to get to all the stages and trying to catch a performance at every stage. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. VJ Delirious joined us. What's up, friend? Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. How you guys doing? I'm here in the metaverse too, but everything is invisible now. I hear the set, but I don't see anyone, and the video is black. I've been refreshing all day. I think we're just kind of taking over the bandwidth or the power. Yeah, I think that it's definitely glitchy. But earlier it wasn't glitchy. I was able to catch Mr. Sway sets. Who else? So can't remember right now. But yeah, I've been here for a few hours, and yeah, I'm having a good time. I feel like I haven't found all the wearables, so I have a little bit of FOMO over some wearables that I'm seeing.
Oh, I will definitely drop the little, like, I've made like a little coordinates sheet. I'll definitely drop it down in the comments so you guys can go and find like all the stuff. And these are all the ones that I've found. I think it's about like 7 or 8 wearables that I found, but definitely I'll drop it down in the comments so you can go and like have a little fun finding them afterwards, because I know it's a little bit difficult, which is why I try to, like, during these events, like, I really try to go around and like write down as much of this stuff as I can and just kind of like hand out the information in case people are still like looking for stuff, because I'm kind of like, okay, I see that there's like that it's not as easy, so I'm definitely like always trying to help with that, because a lot of the times it's like, okay, it's free, like why not help out? But yeah, I'll definitely drop that down there. And yeah, it's been kind of like crazy seeing like the visuals. Like, it's always, I feel like, something new and different, and like when you're walking around, it's like, wow, this is crazy. Like there's a lot to see. Like like I had spawned in immediately, I think it's a place called the Slip and Slide or the Slide something, and then immediately Pitbull is playing and I'm sat here and I'm like, where am I? But I was having a blast. Like, that really like lifted my spirits. Like, just coming up in the metaverse, bam, Pitbull is playing. I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm here. Pitbull is keeping me here.
Yeah, please share that. I remember last year I had a ton of fun with you guys here in the spaces, because I hadn't found the wearables, and while we were here in the spaces, I was able to find a bunch. So yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I remember that. Oh my God, you just brought up a memory unlocked, because I didn't even think of that part of it. When Glitchcat had all the alpha and we were going like as a group and going to all the different wearables. Oh my God, yes. Like, you just unlocked a memory. Like, I was thinking of this space today, and that is one aspect I totally forgot. So yeah. I just wanted to say what's up to Sinful. What's up, Sinful? And Meeples has come back. What's up, Meeples?
Hey, Meep. How's everyone doing?
Yeah,
I'm here. I'm sorry I had mic problems, but we're good now.
And I'm out here rocking my Meeple that we parkoured for, and yeah, it's glowing.
Oh, I see you.
Fitting the vibe.
I'm right in front of you. I got the alien on me.
Oh, I see you. Let's go. There's dancing.
Cool.
Yeah, so and if anyone wants to throw tweets up at the top, by all means, and then yeah, you can share whatever you want to talk about. But yeah, I'm liking this Category 5 set here. So many builds, and if you want to talk about the build that yours is at, I don't know, VJ Deliria, did you get a Meeple?
No, I think I got one last year, but I don't know about this year.
Yeah, so this year they're at the Innkeeper build, which is negative 53.59. And it's at the top of the waterfall, so you do a little bit of parkour and get up there. And that build was built by Jolly, so he did a really good job building the parkour. A lot of really interesting music coming from Zest. So Zest did all the music for that, and he's got
the poster there, and that was like, I think, my first photo I've taken in Decentraland, or definitely one of the first ones. Definitely one of the first. But yeah, I don't know if I caught if that was the festival. I think they had something separate. But I was here then. I just don't know if that was part of it.
Was Grimes in 2021 too? Was that the same kind of events that you're thinking with Steve? Steve, because I remember I went to a party and it was like Grimes had this like, like a 3D avatar, and she was like dancing. It was like a huge representation of her. Was that 2021? Anyone remember?
I think Grimes was 21. Yeah.
But that wasn't the festival. It was just like a music event there, right?
Yeah, I think that was sponsored by DressX, so maybe it was part of the fashion program, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, because last year was for sure, like, DCL Music Festival, we were all, hanging out, and this is the second kind of like the full-on festival that I'm here for. But yeah, I was also active in DCL in 2021. I just don't remember going to the festival in 2021. I went to many parties, but not the festival. So yeah, I wonder if this is the second official edition. Then.
Same. I didn't go. I think Tang went to the first one. I remember she said that earlier in the space with Decentraland. They were talking about the 2021. So I'm sure she may have more details on that of when the official first one was like. I just remember like seeing the build, and I know we were talking about last year's, and I know there were some headliners and stuff, and I think for myself, the Bjork performance was just, I mean, I had chills during that, the rain and the singing and the music video with the lava and the volcano. I was just like, this is what is capable of. And I just get chills thinking about it too, because that experience, I mean, we had the OG stage, awesome, had a lot of awesome experiences. The Twitter Spaces, all that was really just an overall great time we had. But just what stuck out to me was that ending with Bjork and the rain was just transcendent. It really was. But yeah, Tang has come up. Tang, you here at the 2021 festival?
Hey everybody, 2021. Yeah, it was. I was here. That was with Deadmau5 and Paris Hilton, right?
Oh, they had Paris too, huh?
Were you not here for that one, please?
I wasn't. I was just saying I caught Steve Aoki in October of 21, and I wasn't sure if that was a part of it or not.
I don't remember if Steve Aoki was a part of it. I don't think so. Aluna was, which I thought was pretty cool.
Was Grimes part of it?
Grimes was part of Fashion Week 2022.
Oh, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. Yes, well then I don't think I attended the festival in 2021 then.
Me either, BJ. Me either.
So we are not that cool, okay?
We're not the
okay.
OG.
And it's okay. But I agree with you with the Bjork rain. I made a post that I shared up here as well. And you know, like I feel like Bjork, I mean, we all know Bjork is like 20 years ahead of us, and she basically definitely, you know, showed how you put on a Metaverse concert. It was amazing. I still think it's the best Metaverse concert that's been out there.
Yeah, and just that build and that wide open field, like it was huge. It was just massive. And then you had the random drops, or not the raindrops, but like the wearable that would come and go. And I just thought that was so cool, because that just signifies a moment in time. And those are my favorite wearables. When I go back and look, it's the ones that are kind of time-stamped, and they have a lot of meaning to them. They're really invaluable. Like it just, and even in IRL, like I like concert shirts that you can only get at certain places. Like those hold just a lot of meaning to them. So I just thought that was really cool. And yeah, Tang, what is up? I know at 10:30 there's another concert at Metamorphic.
Yes, that is a kind of a surprise pop-up. We did not plan it, but it turns out that community member City is a DJ. I had no idea. I don't know if any of you guys knew that, but I think it's super awesome that I get a chance to kind of debut his DJing at the music festival. How awesome is that? So that's happening tonight in a couple hours after Gucci's show, I believe. How has everyone's experience been today? I'm a little bit laggy, and I'm dressed as a ghost. I am appearing as a ghost, which is always heartbreaking for me. Are you all in the game right now?
I
Yes.
am in the game. Yeah, I'm in the game, but everyone disappeared for me. I mean, I've been refreshing forever, and I have, you know, my computer is pretty good. So I think it's definitely the servers. Earlier, I couldn't go into like the main, what do you call it? I forgot the word.
The main stage?
No.
The realm.
The main
Yeah,
realm.
the realm. Yeah, the realm. Like I just got stuck in the NFT realm, and I was like, no, this is not where I want to go. And it didn't even let me refresh. Like it was just stuck for a while. But yeah, it's definitely the thing, here in the metaverse right now.
I mean,
But
it's new,
all good.
it's growing pains
Yeah.
still. I get so frustrated, as I'm sure that we all do, but then all of a sudden everything kind of clicks in and locks in, and it's so gratifying to see your friends up on stage and vibing with the rest of your friends in the crowd that you immediately forget all the frustration that you had just a few minutes before, right?
I actually got off earlier, and I was dancing here in my living room, because I love the vibes, and we are very blessed to have basically a rave here in our living rooms, and I mean the performances have been amazing, the visuals. I definitely appreciate everything that everyone is doing. The something I really love this year as well is the river with the music instruments, and how you can make your own compositions. That's super cool.
Yeah, I haven't played with it yet, but I'm certainly looking forward to doing a little bit of exploring maybe on the last day tomorrow. I see Sinful here. Hey Sin, and Slinyor, a new friend. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, what's up, Senor and Sinful, hanging out with us on this Friday. But yeah, we were saying the word of the day has been refresh. I'm just constantly having to refresh. I definitely think with the builds, I don't know if there was a limit. Maybe you could speak to that, of these builds. Do they have limits of megabyte size? Because they seem really big and a lot to load in, and plus you've got all the wearables and then the live stream. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue is. It seems to me, walking around, that everybody stayed, pretty well within their budgets. We were given a really generous 4-parcel budget to work with. It could be all the different streams going at the same time, for sure. And I think too, nobody expected, when they made this place in the first place, that we would all have different wearables, tons and tons of different wearables, which all have to load in on top of the builds and the feeds. You've got all your wearables, all your emotes, and now your emotes too. So there's a lot of information that's going on and being calculated in 3D constantly. Every time you turn your head, every person that moves, all this stuff is being calculated at once. So it's amazing that it works even as well as it does sometimes, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of information to be loading, and however many given people are coming in and out. And yeah, I didn't even think of that too, of all the live streams going on simultaneously right next to each other too. Yeah, that's dense.
Yeah, and the performance, the DJ, the video sets have to be rendered to every person in Metaverse in real time, and then we are streaming on our end. It's crazy. It really is crazy.
This just in from Shelly Van. She was told that, just as we were just saying, wearables might be the issue of why things are a bit laggy and not loading in. So the solution for that is, of course, to all get naked.
And the emotes too, these new emotes that
Let's go.
that play the animation. That's a lot. I keep seeing this new one that's the rave right now, the lights and stuff. That's a full animation, and that is, it looks transparent. So it just seems like that's a lot of data, and all these people hitting these emotes. Yeah, a lot. I see Kat out here with her turtle. Oh, right as I said that.
Yeah,
saying I saw you
it
breaking
happens.
it down.
It happens, I feel like, yeah, again, that's one of the things coming into DCL. You just kind of got to refresh and jump back in and try again. But yeah, no, it's definitely, I agree with everybody. It's been kind of fun to see like the different styles and the builds, and like again, things stand out to you. You know, like you guys were saying, like the Bjork performance. I distinctly remember too, like if you guys were there, like for the Ozzy performance and like the Aussie build, it's just kind of crazy. Like when you're standing in there and you're like immersed in like the experience, you really kind of forget where you're at, you know? And the fact that you could really just like turn your speakers up and like turn your whole room, like you said, BJ, like into a rave. Yeah, I love that. I've been kind of just putting it on in the background and like drawing and doodling like at my desk, because I'm just like, okay, these performances, like they're either really hype, like I've seen anything from like super hype to like super zen and like calming and like really like, okay, like this is meditative almost. So I feel like when you jump into these festivals, it is a chance to like get to know new like genres or styles of art or even visuals, because I saw when we were at Metamorphic, what were they called? They had like these suits, you know, on, and like from head to toe, like you can't see their faces, and I was like, yeah, this is so trippy, like, and why are they blending in with the background, like? But yeah, no, I love that, like the creativity that artists have to like be bold and like brave like that. Like I don't know, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm here for it. You know, because it's a vibe, like whatever they're doing. I'm like, okay, this is like almost like reminding me of like, you know, like the Blue Man group, like, and stuff like that. It's like, okay, this is like different. It's different, and that's okay. I feel like that's where you find like the best vibes, is when it gets weird.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what kind of all brought us to the metaverse, hopefully, is to not just stand up and start DJing, but to take advantage of the fact that we don't have to worry about physics, that we don't have to worry about labor costs, we don't have to worry about, you know, lighting things on fire and fire safety rules, all that kind of stuff. We can go absolutely crazy with the kind of performances that we give. So it's not just an immersive experience, it's this otherworldly, supernatural, incredible, fantastical experience. That's what we're here for. And I think that's one of the things that this Metaverse Festival did really, really well, by bringing all these art installations in, these collaborative things that everyone is making. This has been my favorite one so far.
Everyone's really sticking to the theme for the most part too. I like the different interpretations of the theme, and I was saying before you came in here, Tang, of how I liked the other musicians that the innkeepers with the meeples, where that was, and it was like in a different language, and I was asking chat like, what language is this in? I was like, this is what the metaverse is about, is being exposed to different music that you normally wouldn't, like that's not gonna just randomly come up on your Spotify or on your timeline. And so that's what I think makes the music festival so cool, and really goes to the heart of what the metaverse is capable of. We're bypassing the algorithm here. We're connecting directly creators with fans in a new way. I just think it's just really cool, and yeah, it's been some great moments. And, yeah. And I see Mikey Z's popped in here. Gaia popped in here. What's up, man? We're just talking about the music festival day 2, what we've got going on. Feel free to come up and share anything, give your take on it. What's been your favorite part, favorite wearable so far? I know BJ Deliria is looking for some places to find some wearables, and I am too, because I know I haven't collected everything. I haven't gotten this emote that everyone's loving with the phone, but I heard that's at Polygon Mine. Want to check that out. And if you go to Metamorphosis, you get a music NFT. And I liked what you were saying in the space earlier, Tang, of wanting to give a music NFT. I think that's really cool. For me, that's like keeping my ticket when I go to a concert. I'm the person that likes to keep their ticket, so I think this kind of goes to that way of thinking too. It's like, you went to this, and this is only, here for this event. So I think that's really cool. And shout out Gucci for putting that together. Love his sets. And yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about the music NFT or anything.
Well, I wish that he was here to tell us a little bit about it.
I know.
I know that you were in the space this morning, but I don't know who else was. I did mention that at one point, let's start with at my space. One of the things that we did was we made a caterpillar, and you have to play a game by pushing on his body segments, kind of like a Simple Simon game, copy his song, and it's quite a simple idea, but the theme around it was rebirth and regeneration, and of course the caterpillar goes through his metamorphosis, and that's what the build was kind of built around. And then when we asked Gucci if he would be interested in making the music NFT for this, he actually said that he was staying up at night thinking of what a musical caterpillar would sound like. And for me, that just made me think of him as, sometimes I think of him as a DJ and event coordinator, but really it brought home to me that he truly is an artist, because I never would have even thought about approaching it from that way. What would a caterpillar sound like if he could make music? And I think that you'll find the music NFT really captures that. He nails it.
I played that, the caterpillar. It was fun. That was your build? That was your idea?
Yes.
That's amazing. I loved it. I'm going to be honest right here. I kind of cheated. Because I couldn't remember the order. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to cheat. And I just took a screenshot of the order.
I think that's totally fair. I know the coder that I work with on House and Tang is called Dog, man. So shout out Dog wherever you are. And he's got like a huge brain. He kept on saying like, this is too easy. This is too easy. And yeah, okay, the first one was easy. The second one was okay. But that last one, my God, it was so hard.
The first one was not even easy for me. Like I just don't have like it reminded me of the memory game where you have to remember the pieces, and I'm really bad at it. Like I cannot like hold that memory for seconds. I don't know something about that. So it really made me resource to my video capture screen. But it was totally fun. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the feedback. I think everybody really liked the build. I really love that it's a super trippy place to hang out. The modeler, his name is Gabby. I think he goes by Rubik's Cube in the Twitter sphere. I mean in the X.com land. And he just really knocked it out of the park, I think, with the mushrooms. I love the way they look underneath, like they're a glowing yellow light shining underneath you. I've been using the swing emote that Canessa made, and that, this is like a fantasy come true. It's kind of like the experiences I was just talking about 10 minutes ago, where why just make a stage and a dance floor when you can make something otherworldly, like swinging on the bottom of a mushroom. And I like that kind of stuff about the metaverse.
And also another detail that I loved about that build is your build is that when you solve the caterpillar game, it turns into beautiful butterflies, and it's like, oh, so magical. It's like, oh wow, yes, it is butterflies. That was so beautiful.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you liked it. A lot of people really love the butterflies. Deepfake, who was the DJ duo today that was all in black and white that you mentioned, he said that it reminded him of his mother's favorite blue butterflies. He was really, really moved by it when he saw the build, and that touched my heart too, that he resonated with that in such a organic and authentic way.
And I want to say what's up to Kenji. I love listening in to Japanese faces. I just love it in the morning. It's just so relaxing. I don't have any idea what you're saying, but you sound like the nicest people I've ever heard in my life, and I just love listening into those faces. and the laughs, and you just have such a good time in those spaces. It's such a great way to start my day. It's honestly the only Twitter space I'd ever listened to in the morning. I would not listen to a regular Twitter space that early in the morning, but that is just it's soothing. It's just feel good. It's like a feel good space every time. So shout out Kenji and all the Japanese friends who started out early. I was in here at 7 a.m. With them at Meta Tokyo, and it was cool to catch some performances there at Meta Tokyo and listen in and hang out with them. And that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about at these festivals. And you really do feel like you're at a festival. Like at the end of these 3 days, it really does feel like, you've gone through something. You really, it's an effort to go through it. It's not just, as easy as you may think it is, even though it is just like you were saying, like a techno stage in your living room or whatever you're on. I think is really cool and cool for people. I'll share it, and I've shared it with like my normie friends. They're like, I don't know what's going on, but this is really cool. And it is unfortunate for like new people, I guess, for their first experience to be this, because it is so heavy that I try to do it on like off days versus trying to get like new users. But this is what brings new users, and I don't know, like there's got to be a solution here, because I want this to do good, and I know they're trying, and I know it's like all of this new stuff and new wearables and new emotes, but I the cold hard truth is, like, the first time user is gonna wait 3 seconds and they're out. I mean, 3 seconds and they're out. And if we can't get something in there in that 3 seconds, it's very tough. It's so tough. But be patient. It is worth it. It is cool. And I do think it also, like, to put out like streaming stuff and that video content, I think is like a way for people to kind of dip their toe in the water. It's not like diving so deep, where they can at least like touch the surface and see what's going on, because it really is cool. And I'll find myself at IRL events like talking to people and showing them like, hey, this is like a virtual concert in the meta, and they're like so blown away by it, because it's so cool. And I think musicians and other artists and creatives, the virtual reality just enhances kind of anything that you're already doing in Web 2 or whatever. I think virtual reality just enhances it. You can, if you're a digital artist, like seeing your digital art in this space, it just takes it to another level.
Yeah, I definitely see where like the musicians are like really like connecting with each other and getting like in tune with like, okay, how, like if we are going to be in this virtual space, or like, like the pandemic, I guess, really forced people to kind of like change, I guess, their mindset of like, okay, if we are like working from home or like doing something from home, like what does this experience look like, what does this look like? And I've seen like the level of performance where like these artists and these musicians are really like putting on a show. And I tweeted this earlier today, where I was like, thank you, like to these musicians, like for really like just giving us a good time. Like you're putting your time, your effort like towards all this stuff. Like, and I know it can't be easy, because I know I saw that DJ Trax earlier, he had a show and like it wasn't loading in. So like I do see like that there's, okay, if there's technical difficulties, you know what I mean, you do miss a show, but I mean it's not any different, I feel like, than what happens in real life. So you know what I mean, if there's like a technical difficulty on stage. So at the end of the day, these things happen, but he was saying that he was going to rerun it at whatever point in time, which I feel like, okay, like this is cool. At the end of the day, it's like you're not missing out, like you can always replay it. And a lot of these shows, like they're either live or they're like these artists are taking the time to to film it and run it back. So even that takes a lot of effort, guys. You know, like it's not really as easy. Like coming from my standpoint, like filming has been like incredibly difficult for me. So like when you're really like putting yourself out there and like making these performances and like doing your thing, like I really like I commend like that effort and all of that. So I've definitely been like just I feel like in awe, you know, of everyone's like I don't know, just their passion, right, for like what they love to do, because that's, you know, that's what we're here for, to like celebrate artists, like to kind of, you know, thrive, I guess, in this creative space together, you know, and kind of see what we make of it. So yeah, guys, this is nice.
Yo, everybody is taking their clothes off in here. Everyone's in bikinis now. Tang said it, and she is setting a wave. She started a whole trend here.
No, it wasn't me. I came into the naked party. I just joined in the fun.
Oh, that's what someone who would set a wave would say. That's what they would say. They would set a trend and say, "I didn't start the trend." You heard it here first.
I love it. These are the moments, though, that we remember from these kind of festivals. Sometimes we're not going to remember the glitchiness. Sometimes we don't even really remember all the organized events, but we remember these silly little meme type moments. Other moments that I can remember like this would be, the first one that comes to mind was in the first Absolute, which I don't know if anybody here was at the first Absolute in 2021. But or maybe it was 2022. 2022. We had a tree that if you got too close to it, it'd suck you in, and you'd be stuck inside it. You couldn't move. And the coders were so worried about it, and Absolute was so worried about it. Like, we've got to fix this. This is a terrible bug. It's going to ruin everybody's user experience. But instead, the people kind of rallied around it. They called it the people eating tree. And people would try and go see how close they could get to it before they get sucked in. And if they got sucked in, they were chosen, and they tweet about how they were the chosen ones by the people eating tree. These kind of strange moments that we craft together, that's what culture building is all about. And I declare now that this naked party is going to be part of the culture, part of the lore of DCL MF 23.
Yes, it's these little moments. I just took a picture to capture this little moments, and yeah, I hear you, and like that's what I look back on too. It was at the OG stage. There were quite a few moments at the OG stage. I actually have a great picture with VJ Deliria of last year's at the OG stage, and it was just cool, like being in the space, and then our group just getting bigger. And I remember streaming that whole time, and like starting out it was just me, and then at the end it's just like this, it was just this huge group of people. We're just all, you know, it was cool to like see us in the space, but also in the virtual space. The same names kind of pop up. It's just cool to like party hop too. Like you'll just be like, all right, next stage, and share a little moment like that. It was like, remember when we had to just, everybody got down to bikinis and we all wore that? I may have to bust out my little Speedo so I can fit in here.
You're totally right. Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say, please, just real quick, I think the point of it is that we take off all our wearables so that the scene runs more. But I can see that already people are like, oh, well, are we supposed to get naked? Let me put on my bathing suits, my bikinis. And now we're just getting naked for the fashion of it.
No, I got you. Yeah. That's how it starts. You're doing it for a good cause. For a good cause.
I think I'm going to do a naked giveaway on my Twitter. If you leave a selfie of yourself naked at the festival, I will give you Oh, I don't know. Maybe the top and bottom censored, censored wearable from Zeta, something like that. So I'm gonna post it right now.
Amazing. I'm already naked here as well, but I don't see anyone. So my screenshot is gonna be just me by myself at the techno stage in my underwear.
That's nice. It's like do like a pinup pose or something, like a little modeling pose.
Say no more.
I'm trying to find this wearable now. Now it's like a. I love the OG wearable. Just that OG, the wearable from last year. I just love that shirt. That's one of my favorites. You had to catch the rabbit too. Remember? You had to, that was a cool little thing they had going last year. What's the thing this year? What's the thing everyone's doing? They're finding that phone. We have to find that phone. Glitch, have you found that? Did you get that?
I thought that was the one at the Ravers like world place build. The one that had the two wearables or whatever to claim. I think it was the phone is on like the one side and then you run on the other side and it's like the little boombox head like wearable.
Oh, but the phone I haven't been able to claim that. I don't know if they run out daily or they have a limit, but I've claimed the synthesizer head, but not
Yeah,
the
it's a
phone.
little buggy. I will give you a trick, like what I've noticed, like when when it bugs out and it like disconnects me from the realm, I'm able to go and claim all the wearables like that I can't claim, like say if I'm in realm and it's like buggy and glitchy, and like because that's happened to me like the whole first day. Like I'd go to a wearable, I'd try to claim it and like nothing would happen, but then I'd like get disconnected from the realm and I'd run around on my own, right, with like no one around in like a ghost realm, and I'd be able to like collect wearables. So if you're having difficulty, that's just a little like a tip that like I've kind of been able to do. Like, so the next time you're like disconnected from the realm or like you're by yourself, or like say go into a different realm where there's like not that many people, it really is just like the concentration of like avatars that's really just like messing with you know what I mean, like all this like the inner mechanisms of whatever code is like flying by. So yeah, just try that.
That's a great tip. Thank you.
Oh, Lucy, thank you for rocking the Meta Party wearable with the book out here. I appreciate that, friend. But you could definitely enter with that wearable there. Okay. I am ready now. Oh, I gotta get rid of these shoes. I am trying to get... Oh yeah, we are barefoot right now. We are... Cryptos out. Cryptos are out now.
I still got boots on. They're them big red them big red boots.
I am barefoot now. Here we go.
Okay, Lisa, I'm gonna give you my post that maybe that you could pin that for me, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's still too much multitasking for me. And
you posted it? You tweeted it?
I did, and I'll just announce it real quick in the chat here too.
Snap. Let's go. You're hearing it here first, people. I put it at the top. I took my picture. I just took my picture. Let's go. I took a picture of Lucy too. Wow, you are... Have some mercy on those keys.
Oh my God, so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Why didn't somebody say something earlier?
That was some keyboard ASMR a little bit.
Yeah, I was trapped. I was trapped in the ASMR.
This is where I have my
That's
effect
so funny.
in the mind. That 7 inches of inner space between the root
Peanut
and
Butter
the
used to
bone
get
is the
so
boundary.
mad at me when we were
It is on
in
all
spaces
accounts
and in
man's
chats because of
prized
my machine gun like typing. And he harassed me so badly that I ended up buying one of those mics that like hangs on a boom arm above my head so that you can't hear my keyboard anymore. But of course, I can't use that
In
on
much
this
the
Twitter
same
space
way,
because I'm on
your
mobile.
emotions can be your own greatest enemy. Or under control, your emotions can make you healthier and happier. And
Yes,
improve the
so
lives of people
hopefully
around.
everybody can see the tweet at the top.
I think of fire in connection with
Take a
emotion.
picture. Flash
When you become
giveaway.
stirred up,
Win a
when your
free
emotions
wearable.
control your actions, it affects
Naked
not only
selfie from the
yourself,
Decentraland
but the
Music
people around
Festival. I saw earlier hashtag DCLMF23 was trending. And now I see VJ Deliria's tweet
Psychologists
about
find that
Decentraland
control of
trending.
emotions can be gained
Like
by
that. I like
understanding
that.
the stimulus response pattern. When you have certain
Good things. Good
experiences,
things.
you respond with various emotions. Stimulus response. Just as this sort of stimulus produces.
And we got Sam Altman getting ousted. And there's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
That's a rather simplified suggestion of a complex.
Yeah, I saw your post about that. What's that all about?
He was ousted by the board, effective immediately.
Nature endows us at
I
birth.
don't know, a lot of speculation going on right now.
Of emotional response.
Some were saying it was WorldCoin, some was saying it was what he was doing, yeah, with WorldCoin and what's the other thing? Damn it. Sorry, I'm scattered right now. I've seen a lot though.
Sorry, man. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. Didn't mean to put you
No,
on the
I
spot.
brought it up. Yeah. No, just interesting. Have to see what else comes out. Have to give it some time. But I did see WorldCoin price go way down. Yeah. And then Elon dropping the bag on Twitter. I shake my head. Trying to get this picture over.
I just sent my picture.
Let's go.
Become associated with these primary stimuli, partly by a process called conditioning. And so many things and people cause us to respond emotionally.
Transferred it over.
And in general, that's good.
And yeah, we are at the True Band stage right now. I see a bunch of friends out here. Some Meta Wolf, Sultry Doves, Mr. Big Mouth, recent DJ at Dollhouse. Cool to see him in here.
Oh yeah, he's super skilled.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was a cool set.
He was. I mean, I believe the theme was Animal Party.
Yes.
And I think all his visuals were all like National
Yes.
Geographic wildlife, and he had animal print shirts on. I love that.
Yes. I love theme sets like that. I was just about to say that. So cool.
The metaverse loves a theme party. As you can see from us all walking around naked right now, we just love it when there's a theme.
Give us a theme. Well, the theme has been set here. You and Shelly Van killing it right now. Oh, I like the roller skates. You got Saren all yadded up.
Well, there are many factors involved.
And that's what's cool too about DCL. It's like, no matter what you're wearing, you still are kind of you in this. Like, you can always pick out who Saren is. Love it. Still have like a certain vibe about everybody.
It's amazing, isn't it? I've often thought that, especially, and you could even see that like a year ago, 2 years ago, when there was less variety in the marketplace. There's something about our, I don't know, I don't want to be cheesy here, but like our auras and our energies that come out in the metaverse. There's three defaults I can pick just from the way you're standing, maybe the way you're moving. I can say who's who. We should test that.
Yeah, right? It
Yeah.
is, though. It is. It really is. And, like, who you're standing next to, too, sometimes. Like, we've got Bubblegum and Billy T Coin, you know. It's like, I know that would be you.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Maybe we can make some kind of a contest or a game or some kind of a quest like that.
Ha.
I love your big red boots, Cat. Very fashionable.
Where is it? I gotta see it.
Thanks. There's the Astro boot. There's the Astro Boy boots. I feel I didn't feel comfortable just putting the toes out there, you know. So we're gonna keep the boots on.
Yo. Oh my Lanta. This was one of those moments where I forgot I was taking a record of the screen, and it like went on for like almost 20 minutes. happens sometimes when I'm trying to switch task, multitask. A lot going on. Well, I was getting some great clips of peeps dancing around here. It was great stuff. These boots are everything. Oh, go ahead.
It's just funny how, it's like heading into the winter time. We're having like a beach party.
Time and weather, just don't exist. And, you can kind of put in your settings, dynamic clock. Mine's always midnight. I like it to be nighttime. I just like the colors. But sometimes I'll switch it. It'll depend. There's been some parties where I'm like, like a sunset, like golden hour vibe will fit this kind of perfectly, and I'll switch it. But special occasions, most of the time I'm in night mode. I think one of my greatest discoveries about just Decentraland was discovering that you could turn off dynamic skybox, because it gets so annoying when it's constantly changing. And I was like, wait, you can set it and it won't move? That was such a game changer for me.
Totally. It was like the last time I ever saw sunlight in Decentraland.
Yeah, so you're the same. Night mode always. And I'll forget sometimes too, and I'll see like a photo from someone else, and I'm like, oh, what is it's daytime there for you?
For sure. Or when you see somebody wearing a wearable that's actually white, and you're like, oh, I thought that was purple.
Yes.
Live your life and live it right. You get one try, so make it great through all the years. I seen her crying, all the pain my mother takes. Too many years can pass you by before you ever catch a break. Take a breath, go and chill before you go and catch a case.
Where did you get these boots, Kat? These are cool.
I think I got them at last year's Fashion Week kind of event where everybody was making wearables. I feel like I'll have to go back and see like who was the creator. But yeah, I got the boots and I was like, oh my god, like I hope because they were like because they got sent like I feel like a message like from the creator of the boots or something like that saying like, oh, you can't use them in the metaverse or whatever. But it's like I don't know, it was like a weird thing, but like I still have the boots though because they were like, I don't know if I'm gonna have to delete this wearable, like all this stuff. Like I feel like there was like some controversy around it, right? From what I heard, but I still got the boots. I'm rocking the boots, so I hope I don't get in trouble, but I like them.
I like them. I want the boots. I want the boots. I do remember, but also don't remember there was controversy about them as well. I wish I had a pair.
Oh, I am just now seeing the horizon. Oh. Oh. Oh, man. Oh. I love it. What a photo.
The prize for the naked selfie contest? Yes, it is a censored top and bottom wearable, upper body and lower that I am modeling. This was made by Zeta, who wanted to do a naked wearable back in the day and was told no. So in defiance and rebelliousness, he took his naked wearable and turned it into a censored wearable. What's the story behind that? I thought that, like a pixelated one would be kind of cool too. Like Japanese anime.
Or the Sims pixel, like when you jump in the shower or something.
Yeah, exactly. You could wear it with Empress Rayon's Luther Bob thing that she has.
I was just submitting my photo. There we go. Crypto's out. I love how I caught Lucy in the background there. Great stuff. What a giveaway. What a giveaway.
Oh, it looks like the show, Gucci's show, is over at True. I had some video issues, so I cannot tell. Can anybody confirm that?
I still see his logo up. But yeah, it's probably ending.
I thought it was going to be another half hour long, which is why I scheduled Fiddy's show at 7:30. I'm going to see if they want us to go a bit earlier or what.
Okay.
Okay, one sec. And that means you, please. So
yeah.
Hold on. Let me talk to Shelly.
Yep. No problem. All right, yeah, so we were going into this party, and yeah, we've been going for an hour here, and yeah, just saying what's up. I appreciate everyone coming through and sharing, and this was fun. This was fun. I appreciate it.
Oh, it sounds like we're all going to go to Roomway. That's a great idea. Let's do that. At least until Fiddy's show.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I was gonna take it to then anyway, and just go for an hour and see what was up.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna jump out, everyone, and kind of get things ready and mingle with the crowd.
Yeah.
And thanks so much, everyone, for chatting. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, Tang. It was nice catching up with you guys. I feel like it's nice to be back in DCL for a little bit on these adventures. November rough. Like I feel like I'm just now getting into the month, but yeah, no, I feel like this kind of like lifted my spirits a little bit, like this whole little fest and like seeing everybody run around. Like it's definitely been a fun time. So I definitely appreciate everyone who showed up, anyone who shared anything. all the shenanigans. Definitely appreciate you guys. So have a good Friday night. And if you're gonna keep partying, let's keep partying.
Yeah, most definitely. It was a feel good space, and yeah. And there's another day tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe another Meta Party Vibe space. May have to just spark it back up and just see what was up. It may be spontaneous, but I will be out here for day 3. We'll see what's up with the schedule and everything, and yeah, may say what's up tomorrow. But yeah, we'll see you in World, in Decentraland. Get be a part of this giveaway here. So shout out Tang for doing that flash giveaway, and yeah, if you're in here, it's at the top, and submit. But see you in World, friends. And Glitchcat also put up a tweet of different locations for wearables. BJ Deliria, make sure you see that, peep that. A lot of alpha in that tweet, a lot of work in that tweet. So yeah, shout out Cat for doing that. So yeah, much love, friends. Appreciate you, Lucy. Appreciate you, BJ Deliria, Sinful, Kenji, Gaia. Appreciate you, friends. All right, till next time.
Thank you. Good night.
See you in the metaverse. I'll stay there.
All right, we're still going here on stream. For another minute. Appreciate everyone tuning in. What's up, 7? If you're still hanging out with us. If you're still hanging out with us, but yeah, it's cool. Feel good space, real good feel good space. Meta Party Vibes, you know what it is. Okay, starting soon. Here we go. Party room. Whoa. But yeah, I'm gonna close this down. It's fun hanging out, and like I said, we'll be back for day 3. I'm gonna have a look-see at the schedule, see what time I can stream, but want to hang out and share some more experiences. There's a lot more wearables I can get into. I have not gotten all the wearables, so we'll be checking that out. Yeah, let's go. All right, day 2 underway. If you can make it into Decentraland, come check out Metamorphosis 10:30 in about 20 minutes. Another concert. I'm going to be streaming for that, so I'm going to close this down to make sure I don't hinder that. All right, but appreciate you. Till next time, peeps. What is good, peeps? Last day of the music festival. We're out here, baby. Day 3. Let's go. It's been a hell of a festival, and we still have more to explore. There's more experiences that I have not done and wanted to do on stream. You know, I started to do it off stream, and I was like, you know what? No. We're gonna do this for Twitch, baby. You're gonna see it here first. YouTube's gonna see it next. And we hit 500 subscribers yesterday. A major milestone. Really excited about that milestone. We continue to go further, one step at a time, putting out new content every week. And really appreciate the support. A like, comment, subscribe, follow. It's a free way to support and helps us go further. We're going further together. And we're going further today at this music festival. Like in my shirt here, my concert shirt. I was talking about in the space yesterday how some of the most meaningful wearables that I have are shirts like this that kind of commemorate a time and special time and place. Also put up a new blog post at bleece.com about this experience and the latest episode of the Indefatigable Artist podcast, episode 42. I put out 2 episodes yesterday of the Indefatigable Artist podcast, and the latest episode is about the virtual music festival and what I just think about virtual music festivals in general, virtual concerts, virtual parties, and how they enhance reality. They aren't here to replace reality, they are here to enhance it. We're here at these concert venues from people all over the world, and it's really awesome, and it just offers that place that people can go to if they maybe physically can't make it somewhere. We got JK47 out here. What is up, JK? I'm going to be doing some recordings as well. Hold on, let me take me full. What's up, friends? Turn this off until tomorrow. Turn this off. Maybe we'll go into camera mode. Come back. JK47. The Rocking Unicorns. Dab on them, JK. Dab on them. I love it. And then I'm going to head to Techno Stage. But, shout out to the Baby Dolls, the Dollhouse, supporting the stream, supporting me along my artistic journey. Really appreciate it, and appreciate you supporting the Bleece Art stream. So shout out Dollhouse, and had another epic concert with them earlier today. It's really cool. DJ Doodle. He had a really cool wearable too. Check out Techno Stage. What's going down? There's a lot of people out here. What's going down at Techno Stage? What's good? What's poppin'? Fermian. Got Mods. Tang Poco out here. Steve Saiku. Wonder if it's about to start. Vamos, Marcos. Of course, it's not loading for me. On my way. We're gonna go check out Meta Meeples. Oh wow, we are getting mosh pitted out. Oh, I gotta switch to my black one. Okay, this is a Meeple mosh pit here. Yo, it's a Meeple mosh pit. Yeah, this is funny as shit. Meet, man. Let's fucking go. Yo. When I tell you, you never know what you're going to get when, Lucy's a fucking rocker. Badass. This is heavy, man. This is heavy metal, baby. This is too funny, though. Get fucking pitted. Get in the pit. Oh, I could put my purple one on. This is too funny. This is fucking heavy metal, man. Let's fucking go. Yo. Here's all the water drinkers. Oh wow, we got samurais out here. We got meat with the samurai. Alright, let's get some camera move. That's hilarious. Yo. That's so intense. Yo. You got the meat playing the guitar. The meep playing the guitar. That is too funny. Yo. Can it please load? Damn, bro. Get all meep deep here. We can still mosh pit here. We got Tang Poco out here, Neo out here. I really wish this shit was loading for me though. Like, that was awesome, Lucy. Appreciate you sharing the stream. If any friends of Lucy in here, or if you're a friend of Lucy, you're a friend of mine. Meeple gang. Appreciate you sharing the stream. Appreciate Sinful for the raid. Meeple for the people. Yes. Appreciate you following, opponent. Appreciate you. Well, it's good. I really wish this was loading for me, though. I think I've claimed that one. That's crazy, though, that this won't load. Out of all, like, I have not had an issue this whole time of screens loading, and I want to see my guy Steve Sy, man. Oh, Colorful Carol joining us from Colorado. Steve Sy is supposed to be on, and it's just such a shame. Soundscape. So they're ending with a soundscape. Hey, Nyanki, it's first time seeing you here, friend. There's Lucy. Wonder if the concert's loading for you. It's good to see all the friends here. It's crazy. Look at this. Yeah, that's the emote. I wonder if they still have it. Look at all the friends out here on a Saturday night. VJ Deliria's out here. Let's go. Let's go, VJ Deliria. Sinful. Turn up, VJ Deliria. Turn it up. Yeah. Still has me hip shaking out there. I like that. See, that's what I like, is like when you hit the emote, let it just loop forever. Don't stop it. Boom. Please. And I have a new blog post about this virtual music festival. If you want to check that out. Goldilocks out here. Fermion. Ira. Spatial Friend. Neo. DJ Deliria. Got Mikey Z. Rishi Girl. Nyanki. Look at my meep just out there. Skin is showing. Skin is already starting to show here. Oh, Lord. Haven't even gotten into the after hours yet. And yeah, we are closing in on a major milestone on this streaming career of hitting 1,000 hours streamed. Was going to see how the stream went tonight, but between tonight and tomorrow, definitely hitting that this weekend. There's Billy T Coin, Alpha Angel, Meta Wolf, Stony Eye, Marcos, JKing. I just like that name. Wow, look at that wearable. Alright, see. That's good stuff. That's funny. Neo is breaking it down right now. Here we go. Just with my meep. Neo is getting down. Boogie. Damn. Goldilocks killing it. I'll just play this in the background for now. I mean, something. I need something. And I'm putting together some more music mixes as well. Got some things brewing. Yo, but yeah, that Meeple Mash bit, that was a lot of fun. And we're now at 145 followers. because of opponent. I appreciate that. I'm going to give you some more love there. There we go. Appreciate that. We are now at 145, so one step at a time. Getting there. We're getting there. On the road to 200. And yeah, hitting that 1,000-hour streamed mark. And I looked it up. That's like almost 46 days, 42 days. Oh, I got it pulled up here. Almost 42 days of streaming. That emote though, that's been the winner. That's been the winner of this festival. A lot of people getting that and liking it. Oh wow. Oh wow. I haven't seen that. The heart with the DCL logo in it. Okay, Cheddar Queso. Oh, I like this. Foxy Yoga. Party on. Party on, Wayne. But yeah, I have not seen that. With the heart. That might be fit of the day right there. Look how many friends, though, on a Saturday night. And that's probably not even everybody loaded in. What is Billy T Coin? What is that helmet? Oh my Lanta. That is funny. Okay. That's what I'm gonna do, because I'm not getting any music anyway. I'm gonna go to Polygon Models, and I started to do this off stream, and I was like, nope, I want to do this on stream. Slip and Slide, House of Tang, Techno Stage, Meta Tokyo. Low poly models. It's over here. There it is. Why isn't it loading? Get out of town. Get out of town. Why isn't that loading? There it is. So you gotta collect. Okay, we're gonna collect all these masks. We're gonna get that email. Hopefully it's still available. I may have waited too long. We're gonna get it now. Let me make sure that we're not getting double music. Yeah, there's music playing in here. Alright. Get all these masks. We gotta jump over there. We gotta do parkour. Hardcore parkour. DJ Blease out here. DJ Blease. They ain't ready for that. They ain't ready for all that. how you get up there. I'm really bad at games like this, so feel free. You can. You have to hit a button. How do you get up there? Is that part of the trick? Is that what makes this hard? Is that... How do you get up there? Click. Oh. Oh. Oh, nice. Is this gonna take me up? Beam me up, Scotty. Oh, I gotta go higher than that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have no idea. Why does it take me to ones that I can already get to? Oh. Boogie. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Did it do it? Click on video tabs, drones, platforms, lights, and numbered buttons. Click. 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 Did they say it was hidden somewhere? I don't know where to find this. I don't know if I did enough. You know what would be really awesome? You know what would be really awesome? Is if this techno stage could load for me. That would just be peachy. That'd be real peachy if this could load. Is everyone heading out somewhere? I want to go. Yeah, didn't load for you in client either, huh? Yeah. I thought about having to switch over to browser for it. That's unfortunate. I was really bummed. Really bummed I didn't, like, everything is loaded for me. Everything is loaded for me. And I've gone in here on client. It just doesn't look as good. But is he still going on, or is there something else at 8? My times are all screwed up. My times are all screwed up. Yeah. Yeah, right now, is that where everyone's headed? That's what I thought. That's what I see on the calendar. But yeah, I see 8 p.m. Soundscape closing jam. I like that. I like the sound of that. And yeah, I want to go to Greece too, man. I've seen some awesome concerts, just concert videos of that. And I know Steve did an event out there. You still hear Steve playing? Okay, let's exit out. Play this for a minute. Load up. Yeah, appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate you hanging out, Billy T Coin. You killed it at Vroomway last night. Had it place turning up. Had me dancing in here. That was for sure. That was a lit set, man. That was awesome. Vroomway. Probably get done as soon as I log in here. Come on now. Alright, we're loading in. Takes longer too. Begin on the 1st and December 29th. Let's go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to holiday season in Decentraland. I think it's a feel-good time. It's a feel-good time. Alright, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this again. There we go. Watch it end like as soon as I get back. Well, seeing a black screen now, I actually like that visually better than a white screen. See, I'm back on Ultra. Let's get rid of shadows. Damn. It's such a shame, man. Like every performance for me has been loading. It's such a shame. Apologies, chat. Switch into my backpack. Oh, I didn't save my concert look? That's a shame. It was pretty much this. But I had the pants and the shirt and the shoes. Got the whole look there. Let's save it over there. I like this hair from the Alright, is everyone going over there? No. Vita, so Biometa even saying he's having a ton of issues. He said he can't hold a stream. It's a shame. It's tough. It's tough because it's like you're in DCL and then also streaming. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, I like that, Billy. Closing performances, we have to make our own music together. I like that. Let's just, come together. We sit in a circle. Steve Saiku. I do think people are going to the closing session, so let's see where. What's it say? Negative 63.54. Negative 63.54. Soundscape. See if it loads better here. I don't know. Okay. We literally are making our own music. He was not lying. Yo, and it's like fully interactive. I talked about that yesterday. Hold on, I can bring it up. Soundscape stage where you can wade in a flowing river with surreal interactive objects that make sounds or beats, from alarm clocks and musical instruments to cascading waterfalls. Explore every corner of the landscape to find more instruments you can use to make your own music. Then bring your instruments into the river to activate them with the rhythm stones. So we have to find instruments. Oh, what's that? F to pick up. I want to. How do I put it in the water? Neo's all the way up here. All right, let's take a photo. I have not blasted off this whole stream, so. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Sorry for this awkwardness for 2 seconds. Like Colorful says, it's only awkward if you make it awkward. We're all friends here. Bang. Bang. Any questions? There we go. All right, we gotta discover instruments. We gotta find instruments. So I guess I didn't know how to find that wearable. Someone's got to give me the tips and tricks on that. But I'm bad at that kind of stuff anyway. Foxy Yoga. It's a great name. It's a great name, by the way. Foxy Yoga. How do you get up there? Oh. Oh. Oh, I did pick up something. Okay. Click to activate. So I got my little instrument here. This is like my little instrument. Did it freeze? Maybe we can switch back over to the client. Yeah, page unresponsive. Yep. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. Yep. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate you hanging out. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. We're closing in on 1,000 hours total streamed. We're gonna hit that this weekend. Kind of feeling it out tonight. Probably gonna stream tomorrow. So either gonna hit it tonight or tomorrow. But cool little milestone. And Michigan, the University of Michigan, had their 1,000th win today. So Thought it was kind of serendipitous that I hit my milestone of 1,000 hours streamed same time that they hit 1,000 wins. First college in history to win 1,000 football games. So that happened today when they beat Maryland. Go Blue, baby. Now it's the game. I'm actually wanting to go back to Michigan. Like, I'm having a strong pull to be in Ann Arbor next Saturday. Like the energy of Ann Arbor during that game. It's hard to describe. I guess like soccer fans probably know, like a big rivalry game in soccer, but there's nothing else in college football. It's the longest, second longest, like Army Navy I think beats it out, but it is the most intense rivalry and everything on the line. Sucks that Harbaugh's not going to be there. Okay, we are back in client soundscape. Don't want to just abruptly. Okay, we back. Oh, see, I wasn't getting that before. Okay. Find objects that make sound. There's fish that make sound? Hey, yo. Add sound to a channel in the river. Activate stones to make music. Blease's Jam. Are you kidding me? So there's a public jam and a private jam. I like that. Okay. Official Cube Man. What is up, friend? E-pitch. Wicked. Wicked. Like how Foxy Yoga is just random places. What is up, Foxy Yoga? Ooh, there's a guitar. F to pick up. Hell yeah, I got a guitar, baby. Hell yeah, let's go let it rip. I applied an instrument. I applied guitar. Slap of the bass. Slap of the bass. Slap of the bass, man. Oh, should we go Banana Blease with it? Should we go Banana Blease with it? Is it that time of night? You know, crypto's out. Crypto's out. We are in water. Hey, yo. Activate? Pitch. Oh. like that. Oh wow, there's a mushroom instrument. Very cool. Very cool way to end it. You know, it's kind of like a community thing. I want to go back to my... I like this outfit. I vibe with that. I vibe with that. I just want to make sure I saw everything, you know? Cayenne, saw that. Metadine Lab, Soundscape. Slip and Slide, saw that. Reverse. Is there anything going on in Reverse? There's like intermission. Oh, I did see a performance there. Claim. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of little things like this I have not claimed. I know Glitch Cat was all over it. Glitch Cat had the... Oh, snap. Okay. Okay. We claimed. Martin Siesta. And there's a lot of like art installations too that I may have missed. Will you remember this first time? First Time by Martin Siesta. (1887). Oh, okay. So History of Sound. Okay, very cool. Flat disc. Long playing records. LPs. Digital audio tapes. MP3 format. 1987. 99 Napster. Wow, Napster gets a shout out, but LimeWire doesn't? LimeWire was my shit. 2020 Rise of Metaverse Concerts. 2023 Decentraland Music Festival. Okay. The shade to LimeWire, though. Oh, this was cool. Oh, it plays music. Very cool. There's certain things that... That's cool. Dope. Ooh, what's that? Negative 64. 94. I was at the closing party, yeah. Head back over there. I was just making sure I, didn't miss anything. Appreciate you sharing that though, Towercraft, yeah. See, it's like little things like that. I know I have not claimed. So that was cool. Get that. I think I got the shoes. I didn't get these shoes though. Well, we haven't done that. We haven't done that yet. I haven't just ran around. You gotta just run around at these places. You never know what you're gonna find. Pays to just run around. Jump around. Jump up, but get down. Oh, do I see you, Billy? Oh. Oh. Is this where you're sending me? Negative 64, 53? Negative 65, 53. Oh, Billy looks very ominous. Open teleporter. Teleport to day 1. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? Let me put this. Oh, that's good. So is this like the worlds?
Hello Decentraland, welcome to my first ever Metaverse Festival gig. How are you all doing? Hello, you look amazing, I love your outfits. My name is Nina Nesbitt and I'm here to perform a few songs for you. I'm going to kick off the first one with my latest single, Life's a Bitch.
Got the keys of cars on the ship, feels like a marathon. You got your left hand on my knee, you spitting bars on hip-hop.
Shout out Billy for this.
In your room, yeah, switch your TV up the news, my phone is going dead again. Won't you come to bed and then I'll say I'm not romantic. I think love is too dramatic. How we fell for one another, man, I still don't understand it. I'm just waiting for the summer, all the darkness to be overcome. To think life's like a bitch, I hate her, but I love her. I'm with you through these lows and highs. Ain't it cool how it hurts sometimes? But I don't let it, no, I don't let it get me down. I don't let it, no, I don't let it get me down. I don't let it, no, I don't let it get me down. Life's like a bitch, I hate her, but I love her. Turning up to Porsche Vaseline with friends with benefits. We're struggling to pay the rent, now I drive a Mercedes Benz. Lazy days are loose and nice, I don't do drugs and I don't fight. I care too much and not enough. Leo, moon and Cancer sign. My astrological placement tells me that I'm so amazing. You say that I drive you crazy, that's cause you're from the 80s. Marijuana on the sofa, smoke too much, got paranoid. Wish you was something I could fix. Life's a bitch, I hate her, but I love her. I'm with you through these lows and highs. Ain't it cool how it hurts sometimes? But I don't let it, I don't let it get me down. I don't let it, I don't let it get me down. I don't let it, I don't let it get me down. Life's like a bitch, I hate her, but I love her. Raise a glass and take a shot, we'll do it for the hell of it. Life is good until it's not, and there's a way of telling it. Raise a glass and take a shot, we'll do it for the hell of it. Life is good until it's not, and there's a way of telling it. Raise a glass and take a shot, we'll do it for the hell of it. Life is good until it's not, and there's a way of telling it. Raise a glass and take a shot, we'll do it just like a bitch. I hate her, but I love her.
So amazing. I feel like this is the weirdest but coolest gig I've ever played. And I really just want to go swimming with you all right now. Now, anyway, I have a question for you all. How many of you have ever fallen in love during the summer?
So this was made with the Avatar.
I love your outfit, by the way. You look very nice.
It's been different than
This person is
what we've
single. I
seen.
think you should all message
Kind of
them
reminds
right
me
now.
of like the Ozzy performance
Great
last year.
outfit. This next song is called Summer Fling.
Summer Flame. Okay.
Wake up if you're right next to me. Cold air flowing from the balcony. Tastes like honey with the lips so sweet. Move my body like a dancing queen. Daisy chains all around my neck. Don't need gold when we shine like this. Skinny dipping, we were chilling on the deck. Listening to songs from '76. Late night feelings on the rooftop spinning. My hair still dripping out if I was singing about the ones we're missing, but I only want you this time. Yeah, saw waves on an ocean drive. Left hand in between my thighs. Sunsets in a rose sky. We're drinking the southern wine. Spark up in the neon light. Touch me like I'm dynamite. Won't you give me everything? Love me like a summer fling, summer fling. Ooh, 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 summer fling. I know they say that a girl can dream.
2021, very cool.
Moonlight, cigarettes, card machines. Spending your money on girls and weed. Cross your fingers, tell me it's forever. Could we make it into September?
Oh wow. Okay, Jack. Jack out here twerking.
My hair still dripping, my fire was singing about the ones we're missing, but I only want you this time. Yeah,
Ooh, I like this
saw
fish.
waves on an ocean drive. Left hand in between my thighs. Sunsets on a rose sky. We're drinking that southern wine. Spark up in the neon light. Touch me like I'm dynamite. Won't you give me everything? Love me like a summer fling, summer fling. Ooh, 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 summer fling. Hold me down for the summer, say they'll never be another. Burning up for each other, make me shiver under covers. If it's cool, then I'm gonna say you wanna, say you wanna. Say you wanna be a summer fling. Hold me down for the summer, say there'll never be another. Burning up for each other, make me shiver under covers. If it's cool, then I'm gonna say you wanna, say you wanna. Say you wanna be. Saw waves on an ocean drive. Left hand in between my thighs. Sunsets on a rose sky. We're drinking that southern wine. Spark up in the neon light. Touch me like I'm dynamite. Won't you give me everything? Love me like a summer fling, summer fling. Ooh, 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 be my summer fling. Say you wanna be a summer fling.
Word.
This is the most unique gig I have ever played in my life. Thank you so much for being here. I've only got a couple songs left now, so I want to play you something from my last album, and this song is called The Best You Had.
Does she ever feel like me? Run her fingers down your back. Do you ever talk about us? Or is it just the bad times we had? 'Cause baby, it's been 3 weeks and I'm going on my mind. How does she taste? Is it sweeter than mine was? I've been using bodies just to get me through the night. Is it the same, huh? 'Cause it's crazy that you're moving on so fast. But baby, it's okay if I'm still the best you had. And it hurts that you would just leave like that. But baby, it's okay if I'm still the best you had. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. If I'm still the best you had. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. If I'm still the best you had. Nobody did it like us, nobody did it like you did. Darling, I know that we're done, but you don't make us stupid. Tell everyone I hate her, 'cause I'm scared of how you feel. It's
I like the purple. I like the purple.
'Cause it's crazy that you're moving on so fast. But baby, it's okay if I'm still the best you had. And it hurts to think about you like that. But baby, it's okay if I'm still the best you had. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. If I'm still the best you had. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na na na.
I want to get that fish. I want to get that fish in there.
And I don't want you, no nothing more. I don't need you. Oh, it's crazy that you're moving on so fast. When I am still the best you had. It's crazy that you're moving on so fast. But baby, it's okay if I'm still the best you had. And it hurts that you would just leave like that. But baby, it's okay if I'm still the best you had. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. If I'm still the best you had. Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. If I'm still the best you had.
Thank you so much. This has been truly amazing. It's actually been 2 years since I last played a gig, and this is my first ever gig in the metaverse. So thank you so much for coming and making it such a special experience. You all look amazing. I love your outfits. I hope you like my trainers. I picked them specially. I'm so sad to say that it's my final song. I've loved being here and hopefully be back soon. This song is called Loyal to Me, and it's about all the warning signs and symptoms that you need to look out for when you fear you may be dating a cheater.
All of us girls, we're in and out of love, we're vulnerable. Oh, but we'll tell you that we're tough. Some of these guys never think that they can, think that we're blind, but they're forgetting that we talk. If he never calls when he says he will, if he always tells you to keep it chill, if you see him out with another girl, baby, then you know he was never real. If he never wants you to meet his friends, if he ain't taking you on the gram, take your heart and turn it around while you still can. And tell him, I got somewhere else to be. And I don't lose my head for nobody. Yeah, if you have to question, is he loyal to me? Well, then he's probably not, and you should probably leave. Says he's all mine, but he told you he's asleep. You stay inside. like he never wants you to be seen. Ain't got a job, no. Says he models on the side, swears you're the one, but he's not the label type. If he never calls when he says he will, if he always tells you to keep it chill, if you see him out with another girl, baby, then you know he was never real. Hope you never let those pictures send. He'll only go shoot them to his friends. Take your heart and turn it around while you still can. And tell him, I got somewhere else to be. And I don't lose my head for nobody. If you have to question, is he loyal to me? Well, then he's probably not, and you should probably leave. Yeah, ooh, 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 ooh. 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 They're not loyal to me. They're not loyal to me. They're not loyal to me. They're not loyal. And tell him, I got somewhere else to be. And I don't lose my head for nobody. If you have to question, is he loyal to me? Well, then he's probably not, and you should probably leave. Yeah, tell him, I got somewhere else to be. And I don't lose my head for nobody. If you have to question, is he loyal to me?
Alright, we've been live for a couple hours. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Just wanted to do something for the last day here. This was cool. This was cool to check this out. Nina Nesbitt.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the festival. My name's Nina Nesbitt.
I was a little early. But yeah, appreciate everyone hanging out. Appreciate Billy coming through and giving us the link for that. Very cool. We are double in the meta. There's Meta Tiger. That was dope. I like that little OG Worlds. I just want to run through this really quick before I close it out. Checked out Argents. Oh, did I get the gloves? Hey, see, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about right there. Alright, we did claim that. We've seen Meta Tokyo. Seen Argents. True Stage, OG Worlds. We've checked that out. So maybe, let's check out Argent. I think we've checked out Argent. Got put in work. Put them in. Ooh, this is beautiful. I don't think I saw this. Yo. This is trippy as hell. What? This is trippy as hell. Are you kidding me? 4 different worlds for the fest. Oh, that's very cool. Bump, bump. From the 20. See, I saw that logo. I was trying to remember if I had been to the 2021 because I saw Steve Aoki in 21, but I don't think that was part of it. But that logo looked familiar. I'd seen that logo, and I think I'd seen that build somewhere before. I think they left it up for a while, right? This is Argent's. I think I've been in here. Oh, it's so cute. Good job, Argent. Friend of the stream, Argent. Oh, beam me up, Scotty. Oh. Very calming sound. Very calming sound. Yo, this was trippy as fuck, though. You kidding me? Are you kidding me with these art installations? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With these art installations? Of course I nudged the mouse. Of course I did. There we go. Okay, so we saw Argent, saw that. Argent's was so cute. Look at that. Look at that. Meta Tokyo, definitely saw Meta Tokyo. I thought they would go late on day 3. I guess not. They went late yesterday. We went late at House of Tang. Smiley World was fun. Danger Denims. Rock and roller skates. It's cool. It's very happy. Puff her up. Seen Garden, Knights of Antrim, Warhol 1. Yeah, it's just hard to visit everything. It's truly hard to get to everything when everything is going on all at once. Metadyne Labs. What was Metadyne Labs? Oh, is this the rat thing that people are talking about? Has a wearable quest? Ooh. Test your mind. Escape the room. Oh, wow. I haven't done this one. Okay. I might have to go back to Knights of Antrim and do a wearable quest.
Welcome to the experiment. You're about to go through a series of trials to become the chosen rat to bring this experiment to life. You'll endure hardships, but you'll also have fun. And who knows, you might even become the top rat in Decentraland.
Entrance. Oh boy, what is this? Oh man, here we go.
Let's test your problem-solving skills. Can you escape from this room? Sorry, I can't help you here. Business policy? I'm just joking. Try using your rat blaster to pick up the boxes. Once you master that, I'll teach you how to use the gateway feature.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué le pasa? Does that not open it? Oh. I tell you, I'm bad at this stuff.
Piece of cake, right?
Sure. I thought it was supposed to open the one thing. I had to follow the line exactly. Oh man, I'm doing this on day 3. My brain's a little mush. What's that? Was I supposed to get something in here? Okay.
Don't go, keep exploring. Interesting, right? I hate using the word interest. I can see your rat instincts come naturally to you. This should be an easy maze for a little rat like you. But please don't be as fragile as the last one.
Oh man, what the? Hey. Beam me up, Scotty. Hey. Two of 13, man. They make you earn it. Okay. We're gonna earn this damn wearable.
Let's dive even deeper into the unknown.
Okay, so I just gotta pick it up once. To shoot gateway openings, just left click on your mouse. Use the E key to switch blue and orange gateways. Bro, we're switching gateways and shit.
Now how about you try out that gateway function? Make your own path forward.
When I tell you I have absolutely no clue what.
Gateways can teleport anything. You can do more than just jump through them.
Bro, I shouldn't have tried to do this on day 3. The fuck is this? What does this mean? Yeah, when I tell you I have when I oh shit. I appreciate it, Billy, but my brain, I don't get games anyway, so I'm just not a gamer. So y'all are completely losing me on this. Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, that's cool. I don't know what that means. Why didn't it go? Oh, I got you now. Well, I'm still terrible.
You've got to remember to exercise the gray matter. It's not all about muscles.
Yeah. Bro, and it's only gonna get harder. Oh my lord. Oh, I don't know if I got it in me. I don't know.
Your cleverness is shining through.
Cleverness?
Higher, and there won't be a puzzle left you can't solve.
Oh boy.
I hope you're not afraid of heights.
I'm terrified of heights. I'm a rat. Are you kidding me? Okay. Oh, I'm figuring it out. Do 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 do. What do I gotta put it on? What the hell?
2 boxes, 2 buttons. It's still easy even if you're a rat.
Are you kidding me? got you now. Oh, man. Oh. Oi. Oy vey. Okay. Now we get back. Okay. Sorry if I'm boring you guys. I did not know it was going to be this many levels on this. I heard it was a maze, but I mean, we're going to earn this damn wearable. We're going to earn this damn wearable. Appreciate you hanging out, though. Happy Saturday. What's up? How we doing? Appreciate Billy and the pointers and the words of encouragement there. What's up, DCL fam? Last day of the... Is that implying that there's gonna be lasers that can harm me? And why are we timing this? I don't need to know. Is this like the Black Abyss?
In life, you have to know where to stand so that opportunities elevate you.
What in the... What is this? I don't know what the point of this thing is. What is this? When I tell you this is going way over my head. There's something up there. What you looking at, guy? Am I funny? Am I amusing you? Funny? Funny how? Funny like I'm a clown? I don't know what this is. Did I forget to pick up something? No. Why is there shit on the ceiling? Like, what? Ah. I feel like it's something to do with that laser, but I have no idea. Do I gotta look at the laser? I'm only a third of the way into this, and I'm this bad. Oh. No fucking shot. This is... Are you kidding me? Does it come back down? No way. Oh. Bruh. What? Ooh. Y'all are on another level with this. Y'all are on another fucking level with this. No way. Sorry, I had that muted the whole time. That's crazy. I just want to just show where our progress is
Reflect
at.
on your journey so far. Every obstacle is an opportunity. Keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward. Y'all got me playing Halo out here and shit.
Don't touch the red lasers. These do kill you.
To kill you. What'd I say? That those lasers. There was implication there. Yo, they on another one with these lasers. What?
It's not a very comfortable prison. I'm bad, and I admit that I'm really bad. Oh, this is more of a day one adventure. What is this? Level 6. Level 6. Vertigo is no match for your skills. The heights you'll reach are limited only by your imagination. This place is not clean. I know you like dirt, but that liquid is toxic, even for you.
Y'all are on some shit with this.
Fine movements are necessary. Move carefully.
Y'all are on some shit with this.
Better luck the next one, Rat.
Where does that send me? I gotta restart. Oh my Atlanta. What did it activate? What the hell did it activate?
Vertigo is no match for your skills. The heights you'll reach are limited only by your imagination.
What did it activate? I didn't see it activate.
This place is not clean. I know you like dirt, but that liquid... Fine movements are necessary. Move carefully.
What did it activate? Do I gotta wait for the other one to come by? Like, what's 10 seconds? Oh.
Are you with someone? I hear strange noises. Better luck the next one, Rat.
What the fuck? Oh, my Lanta. It goes down so quick. What?
The heights you'll reach are limited only by your... This place is not clean. I
this
know you like
ain't.
dirt,
This
but
is
that
not
fine
for me.
movements are necessary.
I'm
Move carefully.
gonna try to get through this one, but this is not my forte. Wonder what the quickest time is, if it has like a leaderboard. Activate. So it gives you 10 seconds. And this thing takes like 10 seconds. Okay. Here we go.
Are you with someone? I hear strange noises.
Oof. Don't tell me I got over here for nothing. Okay. What does this activate? Oh, we're getting wearables on each one. Okay. Is that the thing? We get wearables on each one? All right, I'm earning.
Stay sharp and crafty as you navigate this laser maze. Success is just a switch away.
Success is just a switch away. Okay. I mean, these are getting crazy hard. What is this now? Oh. 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 Activate. Gotcha. So I gotta... Oh, fuck.
Think before you move and move fast.
Think before you move and move fast. What kind of fucking pep talk is that? There's lasers down there? How do I turn those off? Oh, Lord. So the button's over there. Oh. do it again. What do I gotta do? Gotta be something over here, right? Is there another box? Or is that just a trick? Is there something over here that Bruh. I don't know. Okay. There's that. There's another box. What's in the box? Okay, we gonna find it. Can't hit the red lasers. We did that one.
Yes, there it is, the exit door. Can you reach it?
Shoot my laser gun. Telling me. Yeah, this is definitely the hardest thing I've done in DCL. I will give it to whoever. This kind of stuff. I'm out. I don't know what opens that one. Puzzles and stuff, just not with it. It's just not fun for me like that. What does this one do? Does this one open that door on the other side? Do. Yeah, it's just not fun. It's great. You gotta. I'm sure there's gamers. There's whatever, and there's a lot of people with this wearable. I'll give you that. I don't know. There's another box. I mean, doop doop doop. Where are you? Got some work to do now. So what? It doesn't turn off anything else. You'd have to run all the way through here too, because you can't put this thing on the wall. Oh wow, there's the other box. Yeah, it's my fault for waiting on the last hour to do this. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Eight minutes. Yo. Metadyne Labs. Kudos to you. I'm sure there's a lot of people that really like this stuff.
It's a battle of wits versus turrets. Redirect those lasers and secure your victory.
Oh wow, I saw somebody. Help. Help.
I'm testing these bot animal killers. It might hurt a little. I'm sorry.
What? Best strategy to jump, leap into the turret. Ain't no way, bro. There's things out to get me now. We're stepping up the level in fucking Jumanji out here. Huh? Oh, hell no.
They're weak to blows and strong light. I'll have to improve them. Run, rat, run. Better luck the next one, rat.
Ew. Pew 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 pew. Bad job, rat. Bad.
It's a battle of wits versus turrets. Redirect those lasers and secure your victory.
Cool.
I'm testing these bot animal killers. It might hurt a little. I'm sorry. They are weak to blows and strong light. I'll have to improve them. Run, rat, run.
Yo, DCL Community TV, what is up, friend? Wow, we got through that in a minute after dying a few times. Yo. What's going on? Happy Saturday, happy day 3, happy Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us.
Is just a logical step for you.
I am just getting beat up by this rat maze. Getting just beat up.
You're already getting familiar with lasers, right?
No. I'm not getting familiar with lasers. And now there's this thing where are you kidding me? Gotta use the box now? Gotta think outside the box.
You have to think
now.
a bit.
What the? Que pasa, que la pasa. Okay, so we got a laser there.
Height matters, you know.
What are you doing out there? Ranger's being restless. Ah, so close. So close. Sinful. Oh, that's sinful. Okay, what's up, Sin? Appreciate you raiding earlier. What's good? Ah. You can laugh at my misery. I am so bad at these kind of games. Oh my Atlanta. That's... Bruh. That is on it. Okay. You gotta be angling. Oh shit. Oh, oh, whoa! Didn't mean to do that. there somewhere over here that I have to? Okay, so we got that laser. Got to that laser in there. Okay. Boy. Oh my god, you gotta stack them? Is that it? I don't know what I did different, but we out. Dude, it is, yeah, it's getting me. Hey, I just wanted to kind of do a little thing per day. Talk to the peeps. I love events like this, so I appreciate you raiding, man. And yeah, appreciated the space. Was listening in earlier. I think it's really cool, the musician sign up that you were putting together. And the event next week, let's go. I think that's a really cool thing, man. Okay. Yeah, I was saying, like, I thought it was just like one singular maze or something here, but... Oh my Lanta, what in the world? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Activate. What am I activating? It's not this. All right. Yeah. Follow Sinful Meat Stick. You had that on Twitter, correct? For sure. I will be passing that along to some musician friends that I have. Yes, yes, yes. There it is. Bang, bang. Click on that. After hours meditation metaverse spot with Foxy Yoga. Shout out VJ Deliria. Oh, there's that laser thing. Okay, so let's. Oh no! Activate! Oh god, we got it! Oh. It's gonna be something with. And that goes back? No shot. I think I gotta put this at the intersection of here and here. Okay, so we got the laser there. Oh, yo, this may be where it gets me. This may be where it gets me. I'm gonna take this to 10 o'clock, but yeah. It's making my head hurt. I know there's people that are so into this though. Like I know there's people that love this kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so that comes back. Where's the freaking lasers? Where's the freaking lasers? Yeah. Same. So that's just toxic sludge. Okay. I thought I had seen the exit somewhere. But yeah. that's it. That's what I got. I was hoping to get through there, but yeah, I got till 10 o'clock. But we've been live for 3 hours. Appreciate everyone who's come through and hung out. On the road to 1,000 total hours streamed. Gonna hit that milestone tomorrow. Gonna hit it tomorrow. Gonna go live again tomorrow. And yeah. And check out Sinful's link. Billy T Coin, thank you for sharing and for getting me through what I could of that maze and sharing that link. It was cool to check out that stage. Opponent 888, Meeple Gang, appreciate you guys coming through. Appreciate Dollhouse, thank you so much. The baby dolls, it's a fun 3 days. This was a fun 3 days. I did a write-up. Did a write-up on it, did a little blog post, and my latest episode of the Indefatigable Artist podcast is about this, and I linked Decentraland and everything and just tried to give some perspective and just have been talking to people that haven't gone into this world, but they definitely are starting to understand it more, I would say. And so it's events like this that I think it's events like this that make it comprehensible for people. They can really understand it. Like a music festival. Okay, I know what a music festival is. Well, this is a virtual music festival, and you can experience, like we had some really cool experiences with artists from the country Georgia, and the singer is from the border of Georgia and Russia. Just very, very cool experiences, mind-expanding experiences. And that's what the metaverse is all about, man. It's about experiencing things you wouldn't otherwise. We're bypassing the algorithm here. So we're bringing... I would have never come across that musician who is from Georgia on the border of Russia. Like, he's not going to come up on my Spotify. He's not going to come up on my feed. So to be able to go to the virtual space and to see them perform live, just an awesome. Yeah. The music for me too. Like, I'm a person that loves to go to concerts in real life, and so going into concerts, that I remember, the Steve Aoki one in October 2021, and then going to ones throughout that December of 2021. And I think that's when I think back of, like, yeah, I came in October, but I really fell in love with Decentraland in December of 2021. So, like, December kind of holds, like, a special part of me in DCL. And so I'm looking forward to this December as well, to kind of go back through all those kind of memories and stuff. And so, yeah, December 2021. And then you have last year's, we were really in DCL as well. And it's great, don't really get to spend time a lot on holidays and stuff, so it's really cool to share that experience virtually with other friends. Really cool. But appreciate you guys. Mad love to the DCL fam. This was a awesome communal effort to put something like this on. It's a lot of work, so mad love everybody. Glad I could shed some light and be a part of this. So awesome. Appreciate you. And yeah, until next time, peeps, on the road to 1,000 hours streamed. Very cool. All right, till next time, peeps.